Coming up next week will be the annual LITC Grantee Conference in Washington, D.C. I'm going to talk to you about the conference and some of the related events that will be happening that week. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that you enjoy this episode. Welcome to Tax Justice Warriors, the podcast that celebrates the work of low-income taxpayer clinics, focuses on tax controversy work, and looks at related issues in tax news. I'm your host, William Schmidt, the director of the Low-Income Taxpayer Clinic at Kansas Legal Services. I'm going to be focusing today on the upcoming annual LITC Grantee Conference. This is the annual conference for low-income taxpayer clinics, and as part of our grant funding from the IRS, it is mandatory that the clinic director and the qualified tax expert be sent to the conference each year. We have the conference in Washington, D.C. in December. This is actually the third conference that I'm going to, so there aren't too many trends I can really report on at this point. I can say that we have been at different hotels each year, and I can talk to a bit of the scheduling that is in place, but talking about the clinic director and the qualified tax expert, that sometimes the same person is covering both roles, so that is what is happening in my case. But overall, the clinic staff is limited to 2 staff members per clinic due to seating capacity, unless they get special permission from the LITC conference group. And the cost of attending the conference, such as transportation and hotel, is an allowable expense under our grant from the IRS and is included in the clinic budget. Generally, that the clinics may use LITC grant funds or matching funds for no more than 2 attendees. Now, the setup begins with a session on the Monday morning for new clinics and new clinic directors. There is a welcome from Tamara Borland, the LITC program director, an introduction to the LITC program, a session on building a strong low-income taxpayer clinic, followed by demystifying IRS transcripts, and then an introduction to grant solutions and the low-income taxpayer clinic reporting forms. So that is the software that is used for reporting on the budget and other information on our reports for the LITC grant. Then the Monday afternoon is open for the LITC grantees, but there is a optional workshop taking place Monday afternoon that is put on by the American Bar Association. Now, that is the Low-Income Taxpayer Representation Workshop. It has been organized by Caleb Smith, he is at the Ronald M. Mankoff Tax Clinic at University of Minnesota Law School in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He is the moderator of the first panel titled The 2017 Tax Act and Self-Employed Workers. Within that session will be a focus on the new code section 199 capital A. The next session will be collectability as a litigation tool, settling with the Department of Justice versus the IRS. The final session will be new trends and tactics in collection due process litigation. Following that will be a networking reception. This workshop is open to any American Bar Association members. It is a $30 workshop and $20 for any low-income taxpayer clinic employees. So if you are in the Washington, D.C. area for the afternoon of December 3rd, I would recommend that you go to Morgan, Lewis, and Bockius LLP to attend that workshop. There will be CLE credit and a networking reception, so I recommend attending. Now, the sessions for the LITC Grantee Conference on Tuesday through Thursday are mandatory for everyone to attend. On Tuesday morning, Tamara Borland, the LITC Program Director, will address the entire group for the state of the LITC program. Following that will be a panel on challenging the Earned Income Tax Credit and the Child Tax Credit ban. There will be a break, and then the first of the breakout sessions throughout the conference. Those are broken up into basic, intermediate, and advanced sessions. I don't know that they are always fitting easily into those sessions because, for instance, I will be on the panel for that first breakout session that is selected as basic, recent U.S. Tax Court designated orders. I don't know that I agree it would be basic, but that is how it fits. I have a feeling that if a person goes to any of the levels, they will learn something, and it is worth checking out even if something may seem too basic or too advanced for a person. I believe that they would gain something from any of the sessions. But the other sessions at the same time are civil penalties and treatment of payments for in-home care. The next plenary session will be the Low-Income Taxpayer Clinic celebrating 20 years, so a panel about the anniversary. Following then in the afternoon will be the Low-Income Taxpayer Clinic Liaison Group with appeals, followed by addresses by the IRS Commissioner Charles Rettig and the National Taxpayer Advocate Nina Olson. The final panel will be views from the bench, practice before the U.S. Tax Court, with 3 of the special trial judges from the U.S. Tax Court. On Wednesday, that will begin with a plenary session from the American Bar Association Pro Bono and Tax Clinic Committee. The first breakout sessions will be choices between best practices for mentoring and networking, enhancing your pro bono panel, enrolled agents and certified public accountants, and practical guide to expanding services with limited resources. Following a break will be the third choice of breakout panels, 2 CFR 200, talking about basic cost principles. Now that refers to the Office of Management and Budget federal grant circulars. So specifically looking at questions regarding allowable, reasonable, and allocable expenses under the LITC grant. There will actually be a person who can discuss further questions in the afternoon. I will also discuss that related to another panel in the afternoon, but the other choices at that time are tools for tax practitioners related to specific software. And the advanced session is bankruptcy, tax filing, and payments. Following lunch, the plenary sessions will be 911 through TAO. That session looks at taxpayer assistance orders and other assistance from the Taxpayer Advocate Service. The next plenary session will be innovative outreach, and then the final sessions will be breakout sessions, case management systems 101, innovative outreach workshop, and the advanced session will be another look at 2 CFR 200 advanced cost principles. Now, the innovative outreach breakout session will actually be that Low-Income Taxpayer Clinic directors would bring outreach materials to the conference. Those will be evaluated by marketing and communication specialists who will review the materials and give feedback. On Thursday, the first plenary session will be Impact of Tax Reform on Low-Income Taxpayers. Then the breakout sessions will be Implications of Tax Law Changes for Family Law Practitioners, Tax Issues and Foreclosure Cases, and Tax Issues for the Military. Following a break, everyone will gather again for a plenary session, S-case versus regular case designation. This is referring to tax court cases and will include tax court judges as well as non-tax court judges to give feedback on making choices regarding tax court cases. After lunch will be the first breakout session of the afternoon, advocating before state tax agencies, then or making the case resolving complex innocent spouse issues, and the third choice Effective Tax Administration Offers and Compromise. Then there will be breakout sessions, Introduction to Tax Controversy Triage, Ethical Issues in Tax Controversy Representation, and Demystifying IRS Transcripts. Following a break will be 2 plenary sessions, The Next 20 Years regarding the future of the Low-Income Taxpayer Clinic program, and closing remarks. These 2 plenary sessions will be with Tamara Borland, the LITC program director, and that will be the completion of the LITC conference. Also, they have asked for some volunteers to give feedback during the conference on the current Form 1040 that has been drafted following the tax reform, and they have surveyed us for questions for the tax court panel. Additionally, on the Wednesday evening, there is a optional dinner with the tax court, so that allows for clinics and tax court judges to interact. And I was able to attend last year's dinner, and that was a review of ethics related to tax court issues following the dinner. So generally, they try to give a bit of education or maybe entertainment related to tax court following the dinner. But overall, however much a person attends in these 3 to 4 days, there is quite a bit of informational issues provided related to low-income taxpayer clinics, and I truly appreciate the ability to gather and network between clinic directors and other clinic staff, the qualified tax experts and clinic directors. I also appreciate that this entire conference is designed to give specialized information for taxpayer clinics related to tax controversies or clinic issues that are truly unavailable at any other conference. And at other conferences or tax sessions, I may need to pick and choose what exactly I need to learn that relates to my clients or relates to the kind of issues I face. At this conference, I truly believe I could go to any session and it does impact my work, it does impact my clients. So I am grateful that the IRS does put on this kind of conference because it helps out regarding the work that each of us does during the year, and it does help to meet others within the profession that we can build relationships that would help with the rest of the year. So if you are affected by the LITC conference, I hope this helps give a little bit of additional thought as to what you might attend. And if you are not part of the LITC world, this may pull back the curtain a little bit as to what we learn about, but I hope this helped people to learn a bit about some of the issues related to tax clinics and the tax controversy work that we're doing. So thank you for tuning in. I do plan to follow up during the conference with an episode during the week. Please tune in at that point, even though I will be in Washington, D.C. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to Tax Justice Warriors. We have a Patreon page if you'd like to support this podcast. Providing monetary support for this podcast helps with expenses like equipment or travel to tax conferences. Supporting this podcast through Patreon comes with rewards, so check out our Patreon page. Please rate or review this podcast because positive reviews help get more people to know this podcast exists. The views expressed on this podcast are not official opinions of the IRS, the Low-Income Taxpayer Clinic program, or the employers of the people who spoke on this program. Your tax situation is unique, so do not take the statements on this program as tax or legal advice. Consult with your own tax professional to provide you with specific advice on your situation. Tune in next time on Tax Justice Warriors for another interesting tax discussion.